A 9-year-old with a swollen face ran to the most feared man in town and begged for protection. What the biker did next exposed secrets the whole town had been hiding. The neon sign outside Rusty's bar flickered red and blue. 9 p.m. on a Thursday in Millbrook, population 3,200. Outside, 24 Harley-Davidsons sat in perfect rows. If this story moves you, please hit the like button and share your thoughts below. Sonny Kavira. Barger leaned against his bike, smoking. At 45, he was a mountain, 6'4", 260 pounds, arms covered in tattoos, beard reaching his chest. His vest bore the patch, Hell's Angels MC. Then he heard running footsteps. Fast, desperate. A child's footsteps. A boy sprinted down the road toward the bar, maybe 9 years old, thin, wearing torn clothes. Even from a distance, Sonny could see the kid was hurt, limping, holding his side, face swollen. The boy saw Sonny and the motorcycles and stumbled to a stop. For a long moment, they stared at each other. The kid's face was a mess. Black eye, split lip, bruises on his arms. Then the boy ran straight toward him. "Please!" the kid gasped, grabbing Sonny's leg. "Please, me protege, my dad's going to kill me. Please don't send me back." Sonny froze. He looked down at this terrified child, and something in his chest cracked open. "Hey, easy," Sonny said, crouching down. "What's your name?" Lucas Chen. I'm 9. Please, you have to hide me. He said he's going to kill me this time." "Who said that?" "My dad. He's drunk. He's always drunk. But tonight was different. He kept hitting me, and I thought he wouldn't stop, so I ran." Lucas's words tumbled out. "I know you're scary. Everyone says you guys are dangerous, but I didn't have anywhere else to go." Sonny studied the kid's face. The terror was real. The injuries were real. And that look in Lucas's eyes, Sonny knew that look. He'd seen it in the mirror when he was 9. "Where's your mom?" "Dead, cancer, 2 years ago. It's just me and Dad now." "He blames me for Mom dying." Sonny's jaw clenched. Behind him, the bar door opened. "Kavira, what's—" Tank stopped when he saw the kid. "Holy shit. Get Reaper. And Doc. Now." Sonny looked at Lucas. "Can you walk?" "I think so. My ribs hurt really bad, though." "Okay, we're going inside. There's going to be a lot of big guys, and they all look scary. But nobody's going to hurt you, understand?" Lucas nodded. Inside, the place went silent. 20 Hell's Angels stared at the battered child standing next to their enforcer. Reaper, the club president, stood up. He was early 50s with iron-gray hair. "What happened?" "Kid's running from his father. Says the old man tried to kill him. Look at his face." Everyone looked. Lucas's injuries were worse under the bar lights. Left eye swollen almost shut, lip split, finger-shaped bruises on his throat. "Who's the father?" Reaper asked. "Robert Chen. Runs the hardware store on Maple Street." Several bikers exchanged glances. They knew Robert Chen, pillar of the community, deacon at the church, Little League coach, the perfect neighbor. "That Robert Chen," Tank said slowly. "The guy who organizes the 4th of July parade." "That's him," Lucas said quietly. "Everyone thinks he's nice, but at home, when he drinks, he's different. He hurts me all the time. Nobody believes me because he's Mr. Chen, the nice hardware store man." The temperature in the room dropped. Every Hell's Angel knew what it was like to be judged on appearance, and here was a kid being abused by someone who looked respectable. "Doc," Reaper called out, "check him." Doc knelt beside Lucas. "Hey, buddy, I'm going to look at your injuries, okay?" Doc carefully examined him, expression darkening. Finally, he stood and pulled Reaper aside. Low voices, bruised ribs, possibly fractured, defensive wounds, signs of chronic abuse. Reaper's face could have been carved from stone. He walked back to Lucas. "Kid, we're going to help you. Is your father looking for you right now?" "I don't know. When I ran, he was passed out, but when he wakes up..." Lucas's voice shook. "Does he know you came here?" "No, I just ran until I saw the lights." Reaper nodded. He looked at Sonny. "Take him to the back room. Get him cleaned up, fed." Sonny led Lucas through the bar to a back office with a couch. "Sit, I'll get you food." When Sonny returned with a burger and fries, Lucas was crying silently. Sonny sat beside him. It's okay to cry, kid. I'm sorry. I didn't mean to cause trouble. You didn't cause trouble. You asked for help. Sonny smiled grimly. Your dad says we're criminals. He says you sell drugs and hurt people. Your dad's wrong about a lot. Yeah, we've got a reputation. Some of it's earned. But we got rules. And one of the biggest is we protect people who can't protect themselves, especially kids. Really? Really? Now eat! Lucas ate like he was starving. When he finished, Sonny asked, How long has your dad been hitting you? Since Mom died. At first just yelling, then pushing, then hitting. Tonight he used his belt. He kept saying, I killed Mom, that he wished I'd died instead of her. Sonny felt rage building. He'd heard those exact words from his own father decades ago. Listen, Lucas, none of this is your fault. Your mom getting sick wasn't your fault. Your dad drinking isn't your fault. Him hitting you definitely isn't your fault. You understand? Lucas nodded, tears streaming. What happens now? Now, we figure out how to keep you safe. In the main room, the Hells Angels were discussing intensely. We all agree the kid can't go back. Question is, what do we do? Reaper said. Call the cops, suggested one member. And tell them what? Tank countered. That we're harboring a kid who ran from his upstanding father. They'll take him right back. What about child services? Same problem. Kid's word against a respected businessman. And we're Hell's Angels. Our word means shit to those people. Anybody got connection to social services? I do, said Axel, a younger member. My sister works for the county. She might help. Call her, tonight. While they planned, Sonny stayed with Lucas. The kid curled up on the couch, exhausted. Sonny found a blanket. Mr. Cavera? Lucas's voice was sleepy. Just Sonny, kid. Why are you helping me? Sonny was quiet. When I was your age, my old man used to beat the hell out of me too. Broke my arm twice. Cracked my ribs more times than I can count. And nobody helped me. So I swore that if I ever had the chance to help a kid like me, I would. That's why. What happened to you? I ran away when I was 14, eventually found the club. They gave me a family, saved my life. Sonny looked at Lucas. You're not going to end up like I did, though. We're going to make sure you're safe, I promise. You promise? I promise. Lucas's eyes closed. Within minutes, he was asleep. Sonny stayed beside him, keeping watch. Morning came. Lucas woke disoriented. Then he remembered his father, the beating, the bikers. He sat up, wincing. Sonny entered with a tray. Morning, kid, breakfast, eggs, bacon, toast. Lucas took the tray. What time is it? 7 a.m. You slept 9 hours. How you feeling? Everything hurts. But better. Good. We need to talk about what happens next. Reaper appeared. Kid, I'm Reaper. You met Axel last night? A younger biker stepped into view. Hey, Lucas, I called my sister. Her name's Maria. She's a social worker. She's coming to talk to you. Is that okay? Lucas's eyes widened. Is she going to send me back to my dad? No, Reaper said firmly. She's going to help us make sure that doesn't happen. But you need to tell her everything. Can you do that? I can try. Maria Santos arrived an hour later. Late 20s, professional but warm. She sat with Lucas and listened as he told his story. Every hit, every insult, every threat. She took notes, expression growing grimmer. When Lucas finished, Maria said gently, Lucas, I believe you, but I need to be honest. This is going to be hard. Your father is well known. People like him. They're going to have trouble believing this. I know. That's why I never told anyone. Who would believe me over him? I believe you. And we're going to document everything, build a case so strong nobody can ignore it. And until then, where do I go? Maria looked uncomfortable. Normally, emergency foster care. But I'm worried. If your father finds you before we have protection orders, he might try to take you back. Reaper spoke from the doorway. He can stay here. We've got space, security, and 20 guys who won't let Robert Chen near this kid. Maria hesitated. I can't officially place a child with a motorcycle club. It's against regulations. Then unofficially place him. Call it protective custody. But that kid's not safe in the foster system, not until Robert Chen is restrained by the court. Maria looked at Lucas. Is this what you want? Lucas looked at Sonny, who nodded. Yeah, I feel safe here. Okay. I'm filing emergency paperwork today. It's going to take 48 hours minimum. Until then, Lucas stays here. But if anything happens, nothing will happen, you have my word. After Maria left, Reaper addressed the club. Robert Chen is going to find out. When he shows up, and he will, we handle it smart. No violence unless he starts it. We document everything, cameras rolling. Understood? Everyone nodded. Sonny, you're on Lucas duty. Keep him close, keep him calm. Got it. The bar phone rang. Tank answered. His expression darkened. It's Robert Chen. Says he wants to talk to whoever's got his son. Reaper took the phone. This is Reaper. You've got my boy. I want him back. Now. Your boy came to us beaten half to death. He's staying here until social services figures things out. That's kidnapping. I'm calling the police. Go ahead. Explain to them why your 9-year-old ran away with bruised ribs and a black eye. Lucas is troubled. He makes up stories. I've been trying to get him help. Save it. We've got photos, his testimony, a social worker who believes him. You're not getting him back. Robert's voice went cold. You don't know who you're messing with. I've got friends. The mayor, the police chief, half the city council. You're a biker gang. Who do you think people will believe? Doesn't matter who they believe. Matters what we can prove. This isn't over. Robert hung up. Reaper looked at his brothers. Chen's going to use his connections. We need to be ready. By noon, the town was buzzing. Half rallied behind Robert. He was a good man, they said. The kid must be lying. Those bikers must have manipulated him. The other half remembered things. Bruises on Lucas they'd ignored. Yelling from the Chen house. Times when Robert's smile seemed too tight. At 3 p.m., Police Chief Tom Bradley showed up. Reaper, we need to talk. Come in, Chief. They sat at a table. I got a complaint from Robert Chen. Says you're holding his kid against his will. The kid ran from an abusive home. We're protecting him until social services sorts it out. Robert says the boy's lying, that he's got behavioral issues. Robert's lying. Want to see photos of Lucas's injuries? I'd like to talk to the boy. Fine, but Maria Santos, the social worker, needs to be present. Chief Bradley interviewed Lucas with Maria present. Lucas told his story again, showed his bruises, described years of abuse. By the end, Bradley looked troubled. This is serious, son. You understand what you're accusing your father of? I understand, and it's all true. Bradley stood. I'm going to investigate, but Lucas, you need to understand. Your father has a good reputation. This is going to be hard to prove. I know, but it's the truth. After Bradley left, the club gathered. He doesn't believe the kid, Tank said. Maybe not yet, Reaper replied. But he will. We just need time. That night, Robert Chen showed up at the bar. He didn't come alone. He brought Mayor Richard Walsh, City Councilman David Kim, and Pastor James Morrison. 4 pillars of the community, standing in the parking lot facing 24 Hell's Angels. Reaper stepped forward. Gentlemen, what can I do for you? Robert spoke, his voice tight with controlled fury. I want my son back. These men are holding him illegally. Your son came to us voluntarily. He's staying voluntarily. He's terrified of you. Mayor Walsh stepped forward. Mr. Reaper, I understand you think you're helping, but this is a family matter. Robert is Lucas's legal guardian. You can't just take someone's child. We didn't take him. He ran to us because his father beats him. That's a serious accusation, Pastor Morrison said. Robert Chen is a godly man, a deacon in my church. I've known him for 15 years. I find it hard to believe. Come inside, Reaper interrupted. See the kid's injuries yourself, then tell me you don't believe it. They hesitated, then followed Reaper inside. Lucas was in the back room with Sonny. When he saw his father, he pressed himself against the wall, shaking. No, please, don't make me go with him, please. Robert's face softened. Lucas, son, it's okay. I'm not angry. I just want you to come home. We can work this out. You said you were going to kill me. You kept hitting me and hitting me. I never said that. You're confused. You hurt yourself and now you're making up stories. I'm not lying. Lucas's voice broke. You used your belt. You choked me. Look. He pulled up his shirt, showing the bruises. You did this. The men stared at the injuries. Pastor Morrison looked sick. Mayor Walsh's expression shifted from skepticism to horror. "Robert," the pastor said slowly, "what is this?" "He's exaggerating. Kids bruise easily. He probably fell." "Those are belt marks," Doc said quietly from the doorway. "And those bruises on his throat are finger-shaped. Adult male fingers. I was an army medic. I know what abuse looks like. And this is textbook." Robert's mask cracked. "You don't understand. Raising a kid alone is hard. Sometimes you have to be firm. Sometimes they need discipline. Discipline isn't beating a 9-year-old until he runs away terrified," Reaper said coldly. Councilman Kim, who'd been silent, finally spoke. "Robert, I think you need to leave. Now. And you need a lawyer." "This is ridiculous. He's my son." "Leave," Mayor Walsh said firmly, "before this gets worse." Robert looked at Lucas one more time. The hatred in his eyes made Lucas shrink back. "This isn't over," Robert said quietly. Then he left. After they were gone, Pastor Morrison approached Lucas. "Son, I'm sorry. I should have seen this. I should have known. Can you forgive me?" Lucas didn't answer. He just clung to Sonny. The pastor looked at Reaper. "Whatever you need. Legal fees, testimony, anything. I'll help. What Robert did. That's not God's way. That's evil." "Thank you," Reaper said. Over the next 48 hours, things moved fast. Maria filed emergency petitions. Chief Bradley officially opened an investigation. Other victims came forward. Neighbors who'd seen things, teachers who'd noticed bruises, even other Little League parents who'd seen Robert lose his temper. The town was divided, but slowly, the truth was coming out. On Saturday morning, a judge granted temporary custody to the state, with Lucas placed under the supervision of the Hells Angels, pending a foster placement. Robert Chen was served with a restraining order and ordered to stay away from his son. But that afternoon, Lucas overheard Sonny and Reaper talking. "Robert's not going to accept this," Sonny said. "He's going to try something. I know, we need to be ready." Lucas's stomach twisted with fear. His father wasn't done, not by a long shot, and Lucas knew that when Robert Chen felt cornered, that's when he was most dangerous. Sunday morning, the bar was quiet. Most of the club had gone home. Only Sonny, Reaper, Tank, and Doc remained, along with Lucas, who was reading a comic book on the couch. At 10 a.m., Maria Santos called. "We have a problem. Robert Chen filed a counter-petition. He's claiming you kidnapped Lucas, that the boy has been manipulated, and that he's the victim of a conspiracy. His lawyer is good, Benjamin Drake, one of the best in the state." Reaper's jaw tightened. "When's the hearing?" "Tuesday, 9 a.m. Lucas will need to testify again." "And Reaper? Drake's going to go after you. He's going to paint the Hells Angels as dangerous criminals who prey on vulnerable children. He's going to make Robert look like a concerned father. Let him try. We've got the truth on our side. Truth doesn't always win, not when one side has money and reputation." After hanging up, Reaper gathered everyone. "We've got 48 hours to prepare. Drake's going to attack our credibility. We need character witnesses, people who'll vouch for us." "Who's going to vouch for a biker gang?" Tank asked bitterly. "People we've helped. Remember the Johnson family? When their house burned down, we organized a fundraiser, raised 30 grand. Mrs. Peterson? When her daughter needed cancer treatment, we did a toy drive that paid for half the medical bills. We've done good in this town. Time to remind people." Sonny approached Lucas. "Kid, you're going to have to be strong on Tuesday. Robert's lawyer is going to try to make you look like a liar. He's going to say we put words in your mouth. Can you handle that?" Lucas's face was pale. "What if I mess up? What if I forget something?" "You won't mess up. You just tell the truth. And remember, we'll be right there with you." That afternoon, something unexpected happened. Pastor Morrison arrived at the bar with 5 other people, teachers, neighbors, community members. All people who'd seen signs of abuse and done nothing. "We want to testify," the pastor said, "on Lucas's behalf. We were blind, we were cowards, but we're not going to be silent anymore." Reaper looked at each of them. "You understand what you're doing. You're going up against one of the most respected men in town." People are going to turn on you. Let them, said Mrs. Henderson, Lucas's third-grade teacher. I saw bruises on that boy for 2 years, and I convinced myself they were from playing rough. I failed him. I'm not failing him again. By Monday afternoon, they had 12 people willing to testify. 12 people who'd seen the signs and were finally ready to speak up. But Monday night, everything changed. At 11 p.m., Lucas was asleep in the back room when the sound of breaking glass shattered the silence. Sonny, who'd been dozing on a chair nearby, was on his feet instantly. "Stay here," he told Lucas, but the boy was already awake, eyes wide with terror. In the main room, Reaper and Tank were examining a broken window. A brick lay on the floor, paper wrapped around it. Reaper unfolded the paper. "Drop the kid or your bar burns." No signature, but they all knew who sent it. "He's getting desperate," Tank said. "Desperate men do stupid things." Reaper looked at Sonny. "Double the watch. Nobody leaves Lucas alone. Not for a second." At midnight, Police Chief Bradley arrived, looking exhausted. "Got a report about vandalism, and before you ask, yes, I know who probably did it, and no, I can't prove it." "What about the handwriting?" Sonny asked. "Anonymous threat. Unless you've got witnesses who saw Robert throw that brick, it's just a brick." "So we're on our own," Bradley sighed. "Look, off the record, I believe the kid. I've been reviewing old reports, talking to people. There have been red flags about Robert Chen for years, but he's connected, protected. It's going to take more than bruises and testimony to take him down." "What about the hearing tomorrow?" "If Drake's as good as they say, he'll tear apart your case. He'll make Robert look like a saint, and you look like criminals. I'm sorry, but that's reality." After Bradley left, Lucas spoke quietly from the doorway. "Maybe I should go back. Maybe if I just apologize, tell him I won't run again." "No." Sonny's voice was hard. "You're not going back. Ever. But if the bar burns because of me, bars can be rebuilt. Kids can't." Sonny knelt down. "Lucas, you listen to me. What's happening isn't your fault. Robert's making threats because he's losing control. He's scared. And when bullies get scared, they lash out. But we're not backing down. What if we lose tomorrow? Then we appeal, and if we lose the appeal, we figure out plan C. But we don't quit. Understand?" Lucas nodded, but Sonny could see the fear. That night, no one slept. They took shifts watching the windows, the doors, the parking lot, waiting for Robert to make his next move. But the attack didn't come. Tuesday morning, the courthouse was packed. On one side sat Robert Chen in an expensive suit, looking devastated and concerned. His lawyer, Benjamin Drake, exuded confidence. On the other side sat the Hells Angels in their cleanest leather, Lucas between Sonny and Reaper, and Maria Santos with her files. Judge Margaret Harrison presided, 60 years old, stern, known for being tough but fair. Drake spoke first. "Your Honor, this case is simple. A troubled child, grieving his mother, lashed out at his father. In his confusion, he ran to the first people who showed him attention, a motorcycle gang with criminal records. They've manipulated this vulnerable boy, turning him against his father, who loves him desperately. He painted Robert as a devoted father, working 2 jobs after his wife died, struggling to raise a difficult child alone. He called witnesses, business associates, church members, Little League parents, all saying Robert was a good man. Then Drake called Robert to the stand. Robert's performance was masterful. He spoke about his love for Lucas, his grief over losing his wife, his desperation to help his troubled son. He denied ever hitting Lucas. He suggested the bruises came from schoolyard fights, from Lucas's acting out. "I know my son is angry at me," Robert said, tears in his eyes. "He blames me for his mother's death, and in his pain, he's lashing out. But I love him. I just want him home." Several people in the courtroom were crying. Judge Harrison's expression was unreadable. Then it was Maria's turn. She called Doc to the stand, who testified about the injuries, their severity, their pattern, their consistency with abuse. She called Mrs. Henderson, who described years of seeing bruises. She called Pastor Morrison, who admitted he'd been blind to the signs. Finally, she called Lucas. The 9-year-old walked to the stand, shaking. He was sworn in, his small hand on the Bible. Maria approached gently. "Lucas, are you afraid right now?" "Yes." "What are you afraid of?" "That nobody will believe me. That I'll have to go back." "Back where?" "To my dad's house, where he hurts me." Drake objected. "Leading the witness, Your Honor." "Sustained. Ms. Santos, rephrase." Maria tried again. "Lucas, tell the judge what happened Thursday night." Lucas took a deep breath. "I got home from school. Dad was drunk. He was angry because he got fired from the hardware store. He said it was my fault, that I was too expensive, that if I didn't exist, he'd still have his job. Then he started hitting me with his belt and his fists. He choked me and said he was going to kill me. When he passed out, I ran. Why did you go to the Hells Angels?" "Because I remembered them from the toy drive. They seemed nice. And I thought maybe tough guys would protect me from my dad." "Are you afraid of the Hells Angels?" "No. They're the first people who believed me." Drake stood for cross-examination. His voice was gentle, kind, calculated to make Lucas trust him. "Lucas, you've been through a lot. Losing your mother must have been terrible." "Yes. And you miss her very much. Every day. Do you sometimes get angry about her being gone?" "Sometimes." "Have you ever said things you didn't mean because you were angry?" "I guess." "Is it possible that you're angry at your father because your mother died, and you're saying things now that aren't completely true?" "No. Everything I said is true. But you've been staying with the Hells Angels for several days. They've been nice to you, given you food, a place to sleep. Maybe you want to stay with them instead of going home. Maybe you're exaggerating what your father did." "I'm not exaggerating. Look." Lucas stood up, pulling up his shirt. "He did this. He's done it 100 times. Why doesn't anyone believe me?" Drake's expression was sympathetic. "I believe you're hurting, Lucas. I just think you're confused about who hurt you." "I'm not confused. My dad beats me. He chokes me. He tells me he wishes I was dead. That's not confusion. That's what happens." Judge Harrison intervened. "Mr. Drake, do you have further questions?" "No, Your Honor." Lucas was dismissed. As he walked back to his seat, he was crying. Sonny put a hand on his shoulder. Judge Harrison called a recess. "I'll render my decision in 1 hour." That hour felt like a year. Lucas sat in a courthouse hallway, surrounded by Hell's Angels, terrified. "What if she sends me back?" Lucas whispered. "Then we fight it," Reaper said. "Appeal, petition, whatever it takes. But what if? No what ifs. We wait. We see what happens." Finally, they were called back in. Judge Harrison looked at both sides. "I've reviewed the evidence. I've heard the testimony. This is an incredibly difficult case. On one hand, we have a respected community member. On the other, we have a child with documented injuries and multiple witnesses confirming a pattern of abuse." She paused. "However, what troubles me most is the child's reaction. Lucas Chen is terrified of his father. That fear is genuine, and while Mr. Chen's supporters paint a rosy picture, none of them live in that house. None of them see what happens behind closed doors." Robert's lawyer started to object, but the judge silenced him with a look. "Therefore, I'm ruling that Lucas Chen will remain in state custody. Robert Chen's visitation rights are suspended, pending a full investigation by Child Protective Services and law enforcement. Furthermore, I'm ordering a psychiatric evaluation for both Lucas and Robert." Robert shot to his feet. "You can't do this! He's my son!" "Sit down, Mr. Chen, or I'll hold you in contempt. This hearing is adjourned." As Robert was escorted out, still protesting, he looked at Lucas with pure hatred. "This isn't over," he mouthed. Lucas pressed himself against Sonny, shaking. "It's okay," Sonny said. "You're safe. We've got you." 2 weeks passed. Lucas stayed with the Hells Angels, while Maria worked on finding a suitable foster placement. The psychiatric evaluation confirmed what everyone already knew. Lucas showed clear signs of long-term abuse. Robert, meanwhile, refused to cooperate with the evaluation. The town remained divided, but slowly more people came forward. Other Little League kids admitted they'd seen Robert hit Lucas. Business partners admitted Robert had a temper. The facade was cracking. Then, on a Friday night, Robert made his move. At 2 a.m., the bar's alarm system triggered. Reaper, sleeping in the back office, was on his feet instantly. Security cameras showed a figure approaching the building with something in his hands. Robert Chen, and he was carrying a gas can. "Everyone up!" Reaper shouted. "We've got incoming!" The Hells Angels mobilized instantly. Sonny grabbed Lucas and moved him to the safest room, a reinforced storage area with no windows. "Stay here. Don't come out until I get you." Outside, Robert was pouring gasoline along the building's perimeter. He was drunk, unsteady, muttering to himself, "Take my son! Destroy my reputation! I'll burn it all down. All of it." Tank stepped out the front door. "Robert, put down the gas can." Robert spun around, eyes wild. You took him from me. You turned everyone against me." "We didn't turn anyone against you. We just stopped you from hurting a kid. He's my kid, mine. I brought him into this world. I can take him out. That's not how it works." Robert pulled out a lighter. "Get back or I light it." "You light that. You're going to prison for attempted murder of your own son. Is that really what you want?" "I don't care anymore. If I can't have him, nobody can." Police sirens wailed in the distance. Someone had called 911. Robert heard them and panicked. He flicked the lighter. Tank moved fast, tackling Robert before he could drop it. The lighter flew into the grass, away from the gasoline. Within seconds, 4 Hells Angels had Robert pinned to the ground. Police cars screeched into the parking lot. Chief Bradley jumped out, weapon drawn. "Nobody move." "He tried to burn down the building with a kid inside," Reaper said calmly. "We stopped him. It's all on camera." Bradley looked at Robert, who was screaming incoherently, and shook his head. "Robert Chen, you're under arrest for attempted arson, attempted murder, and violation of a restraining order." As Robert was handcuffed and shoved into a police car, still screaming, Lucas emerged from the storage room. He watched his father being taken away and felt nothing. Not sadness, not relief, just emptiness. Sonny crouched beside him. "You okay? Is it really over?" "Yeah, kid, it's really over." The trial was swift. Robert's attempted arson, caught on camera, sealed his fate. Combined with the psychiatric evaluation that labeled him a danger to himself and others, he was sentenced to 12 years in prison. His parental rights were permanently terminated. Maria found Lucas a foster placement, the Johnsons, a couple in their 40s who'd raised 3 foster kids successfully. They lived 20 minutes from Millbrook and had agreed to let the Hells Angels remain part of Lucas's life. On moving day, Lucas stood in the bar with a duffel bag of belongings, looking at the men who'd saved him. "I don't know how to say thank you," Lucas said. "You guys gave me my life back." Reaper crouched down. "You don't need to thank us. You're part of the family now. You'll always be part of the family. Can I still visit? Every weekend if you want. We're not going anywhere." Sonny handed Lucas a small leather vest, child-sized. On the back it read, "Honorary Hells Angels MC, Little Brother Lucas." Lucas stared at it, tears streaming down his face. "Really? Really? You're one of us now." Lucas hugged Sonny tight. "I'm never going to forget this. Never." "We know, kid." "Udi." As Lucas drove away with Maria and his new foster parents, the Hells Angels stood in the parking lot, watching. "Think he'll be okay?" Tank asked. "Yeah," Sonny said. "He's a survivor. He's going to be more than okay." 6 months later, Lucas returned to Millbrook for a special event. The town was naming a new community center after his mother, Linda Chen. The mayor, who'd once defended Robert, gave a speech about recognizing abuse and not being afraid to speak up. Lucas stood at the podium, 12 years old now, stronger, healthier, happier. Behind him stood the Hells Angels in their full colors. "My mom always said that family isn't just blood," Lucas began. "It's the people who show up when you need them. For a long time I thought I had nobody. But then I met the Hells Angels, and they taught me that heroes don't always look like what you expect. Sometimes heroes have tattoos and leather vests. Sometimes they ride motorcycles and look scary, but when it matters, they show up. They protect. They care." He looked at Sonny. "These men saved my life. They believed me when nobody else would. They fought for me when I couldn't fight for myself, and they taught me that it's okay to ask for help. That being brave doesn't mean not being scared. It means being scared and asking for help anyway. The applause was thunderous, and in that moment something shifted in Millbrook. The Hells Angels weren't seen as criminals anymore. They were seen as what they'd always been, protectors who stood up when everyone else looked away. After the ceremony, Lucas walked over to Sonny. "Thank you for everything. You already thanked me, kid, about 100 times. I know, but I'm going to keep thanking you for the rest of my life." Sonny smiled, that rare, genuine smile. "You know what the best thank you is? Living a good life, being happy. That's all the thanks we need. I can do that. I know you can." As Lucas walked away with his foster family, Sonny watched him go and felt something he hadn't felt in years. Pride, not in himself, but in what the club had done, in what Lucas had become. And he thought about that terrified 9-year-old who'd grabbed his leg and begged for protection. The kid who'd been brave enough to ask the scariest men in town for help. The kid who'd changed everything. Sometimes, Sonny thought, the best thing you can do is show up when someone needs you, no matter who they are, no matter what it costs. That's what it meant to be a Hell's Angel. That's what it meant to be family. The end.